Hey there, my name is Cheesy, and welcome on this road trip. Currently we're driving over the Parmesiano bridge. That's right, we've named the bridge. That can only mean one thing: we are going to play Cities Skylines 2. In the last episode, we became a grand village. We had also had a test with our happiness because we had a lot of problems with high rent complaints. And we actually learned two things in that episode. The first thing is that landscaping does not provide a significant boost in happiness. But we also learned that placing surfaces does help our people getting more happy. If we have a look over here, we can see that our happiness is now in the highest tier. This is for the first time we've ever seen this in the game. And this is because they have abundance of wealth, entertainment, they are living close to a school. They also have an abundance of leisure time. And this made it so that the Sims are willing to pay higher rents and so are not complaining about high rent. This actually makes a lot of sense. It's quite realistic. In real life you also see that in the cities where there are a lot of amenities, the rents are higher and people are actually willing to pay those higher rents in comparison to a small village with less amenities. If you would have high rents there, like as high as in the city, people are not willing to pay that much rent, and that's exactly what we saw in the game. So that's really cool. In today's episode, however, I want to have a look at the industry. There actually is a lot of specialized industry in the game. We can have a look over here. We can see there's 9 different types of specialized industry. We currently have access to 4 of them, but still there's a lot of choice. And how do you make a good choice about what to build, when to build, and how to choose industries in order to grow our economy? Actually is a lot of information the game gives us about our industries. The first look we can have is here in the info views. We can go to outside connections. And here we can see in our imports that we are importing a lot of grain and a lot of food. About 40% of our inputs is just in grain and food. We can also see that we are exporting a lot of concrete and metals. So let's look a bit further. What do we know about this? Where is this happening? We can see that in our company profitability view. And here the orange buildings are the buildings that are not making a lot of profit. So let's click a few. And actually what we see that all of these buildings are either making timber or they are doing something with ore. So probably those 2 industries are not so profitable for us to build in. We already have quite some not so profitable buildings. We have also one in the downtown. Let's have a look at that. It's this building. It's complaining about not enough customers. But maybe this is a similar problem we saw with the high rent. Maybe it's not enough customers. Maybe the customers are paying too high a price. What is this building selling? It requires food, so it's buying food of which we have a deficit. And it's selling meals, so these meals are probably quite expensive and not everyone can afford to go here to have a meal. For this we can have one more look at some statistics. Let's look at our economy tab. And if we go to the production overview, we can already see that we have a deficit of grain. We also have a small deficit of livestock. But if we zoom in, we can see grain is used for food and our livestock is also used for food and groceries. We can go to material goods, have a look over there, what's happening there. We can see there is a small deficit on petrochemicals, but we cannot build this industry yet, so let's ignore it for now. And here we see the real problem. Convenience food is expensive, normal food is expensive, beverages are expensive. And again, we can solve this with grain, with livestock, and again with livestock. So first of all, I think it's in the best interest of our city, of our economy, to first build livestock and grain farming industry. If we zoom out, we can see that there's a few places where we can build this. It's across the river over here. It's right here in our city, but we already built houses here. I don't think it's very realistic to bulldoze all these houses just to build a farm. There's some on the island, but I think crossing the bridge just for farming may be a bit expensive. And we can also see there is some farming area over here. Let's also look at our contour lines, and we can see there's even quite a bit of flat space over here. So this would probably be the most realistic place for the farming industry. What we need before we can build here, because it's outside of our city limits, we need to buy some extra tiles, and we can do that over here. And maybe let's buy these few. We can also in this view go to our info views, look at the natural resources, and we can see, yeah, these tiles are actually reaching all of the fertile land. So these are the tiles we want to buy. We can purchase them. This is going to cost us 40,000. Et voila. We now have a lot of new land. But first we have to lay some roads and see how we can get here. So let's go into our roads menu. Our contour lines are already on, and let's lay down some roads. For the farming area, I want to use gravel roads because, yeah, I want to start with gravel roads and only upgrade maybe the main roads to be paved. In a rural area, not every road is always paved. And what I want to do is I want to make use of these flat spaces. So let's lay down some roads around the edges of the contour lines. Maybe like here. Do the same thing up here. And if we go back to our info views and look at the natural resources, we can see that our farming area is ending somewhere in this vicinity, so we don't have to build all this flat land right now. Okay, so let's go out of this view and continue building the roads. Now for this road, what I really want to do is try to follow the contour lines, try to get down the hill in a quite a reasonable fashion, try to keep it straight whenever possible. And then here you can see this place is a little bit easier to go through. So let's prepare the land. We can do it with our slope terrain tool, make it a smaller brush size, right click where we want to go, and then from the bottom of the hill, hold the left mouse button and just drag it up. Like this. And now we can make a nice straight road going down the hill and try to connect it up using our simple curve tool. Here we need to make a turn first. And if we take this back one part, we can use the same simple curve tool to create this road. Like that. Wonderful. Let's connect these things up. We can already see a main road developing here. Mill Street is going all the way through the new industrial area and pointing towards the highway. By the way, I actually named, in between episodes, I named all the roads. So our old town road is back in place. We now have a broad street. We now have a school street. And over here where all of our mills are, we have Mill Street. So I think at one point this road will continue towards the highway. So let's already prepare for that a bit. We are not going to build an interchange right now, but there might be one real soon. So let's get down the hill a bit, maybe like this high. Okay. And then also the people from the town would have a need to go to this industry for work. Right now they have to go all the way around and through the other industry area. I think it would be sensible for them to get an own way. I think also they would have a need to reach this future highway interchange. So let's prepare for that and tap into this flat piece of road and try to make a way that goes towards the Mill Street we just established. I'm trying to follow the contour lines here so that cars don't have to make too big of a drop or a climb. That it's nice and gentle to get through this road. I expect this to be a main road at some point. So that's why I look out for the grades and don't want anything too harsh. So we connect it up here. And then I also want an extra outlet to the industry area. Let's go into our landscaping tool again, into the slope terrain tool. And I want to get up here, starting somewhere here maybe. Nice and gentle. Let's connect the road. And then we can go back into our landscaping tools and use the soften terrain tool to clear this out. Make it look a little bit more reasonable. Like this. And I would say that's a pretty decent road layout. Let's upgrade the main roads that we can already see established. When replacing a dirt road, you actually have to watch out. It's quite easy to upgrade it like this, and then you see it looks really weird. You actually have to... when it's still a dirt road, you have to hold your mouse at the right side of the road to make it line up with the paved roads. Like this. And this will give you a nice even road all the way down. With no kinks and crazy stuff like that. With the roads out of the way, we can now start to think about our industries. So let's go into our specialized industry tab. And start with the grain farming. We can see here the grain farming specialized industry can be set up on areas of fertile land to produce grain. The livestock farm specialized industry can be set up anywhere to produce livestock. So even though I want to use these together as one industry, I think it's most important to put the grain farming first on the fertile land, because it really is asking for that. And then only afterwards place the livestock farming on places we have left. With the specialized industry, you first have to place the main building. And then you have to drag out a specialized industry area. This is a lot like what we did over here with our landfill. We just have to fill out an area and the game will automatically fill it with fields. As you can see right now, this is starting to fill up with grain. Wonderful. So let's place a few more. And these livestock farms also can be placed on a hill, because the farms, they will automatically conform to the terrain. You can see it over here. It doesn't do any weird stuff with the terrain like it would have in Cities Skylines 1. That was the wrong menu. I wanted to go here. Okay, let's place one more farm on this road. Give it a very big area. This will be our main farmhouse, I think. Let's also place a few livestock farms. If you remember correctly, from here we had a lot of grain needed, but only a little bit, about a third, we need livestock farms. So I want only to place like 1 or 2 of this. I think will be good for the beginning of the area. Should we need more in the future, we can always make more. But for now, let's start with this. That's the first one. And you can see this looks a lot like the grain area, but it builds an extra barn. And I just imagine the cows being in here. You can actually see them walking around. We have some cows, we have some horses, but mostly cows. And that actually fits in great. What happened here? We lost we lost the farm. Okay, let's place this again. That's really weird. I don't know what happened over there. If somebody saw what happened, then please leave me a comment, because I think it's weird. I didn't have this happen in my test run. Oh yeah, what we were doing is placing the livestock farms. So one more over here. Let's fill this up. I think this one is too small maybe. That doesn't have place for this barn. So let's draw this one again and try if that's right. Maybe if we place it on this side, we can have some more square flat space over here for the barn, and hopefully that will fix our problem. So let's go to here, to the corner and back again. Does this solve our problem? Yes, it does. Okay. Let's see, do we have any animals here? Yes, they are spawning in. Now we also have some sheep, some pigs, but still a lot of cows. Why I think that is very good is because the next part of the video I want to do some naming again. None of the streets this time. If we go to our areas tool, we can paint an district much like we just placed the fields. We can draw a district out like this. Let's place this one over the farm. We also want to name our city. Right now this is the village of Parmesiano, but in the future when we are starting to grow bigger, we want to know that this is our original Parmesiano area and maybe other parts of the city are later developments. And to keep these apart, I like to use these areas. So this one I will call Parmesiano. And we also have this industry area. I want to give its own name. I actually have a great name. I was talking with one of the viewers. You might have seen his comments. His name is Mayennayer. And I was talking to him. He was suggesting a really great name for the industry area. So let's name this one Feta Factories. Hello, Feta Factories. Great name, thank you for the suggestion. And should you in the future, Mayennayer or anyone else, have some ideas for further names for areas, names for specific buildings, for some streets, then please let me know. I think just naming places like this really gives a sense of realism. It gives it makes me feel more attached to the cities, and I hope it does the same for you. For this area I also had a nice name in mind. We have a lot of cows here, and as you already know, we like to do it a bit cheesy. So this can only be one thing. This will be La Vacherie, our very own farming area. Let's also make this farm look a little bit more realistic by adding some more stuff. First of all, we still have this flat area over here we can fill in. So let's drag out the road real quick, just like that. And we can see in the future if this is something that we like or not. Over here I want to place some regular industry. We still have a demand for that. And we need some places for the grain to be turned into food, of course. I don't think we can turn this industry to also be specialized industry. But what we can do is add it into our industry area by dragging out a node like this and adding them right here. Now this is part of the farming area. One more thing I think would happen is that we would see a few low density houses appear. Maybe these farmers divided up their land, tried to build a home for their children, or just rent some places out. So we are going to simulate that by building just a few houses on the edges of the farm field. And we will say these are the farmers that just subdivided their land in order to make some extra money. Let's also add some trees along the road to make this feel a bit more farm-like. And what I want to do is I want to try and find a combination of trees that also is present in these buildings. So maybe not the pine tree, but the chestnut looks like it's here. Is this the chestnut? It's a chestnut. It's maybe birch. And what do we also have? Do we have something else? Oak maybe? No, this is too big. Let's keep it at this. We are going to use chestnuts and birches. We can already see that just by adding a few houses and a few trees, it already looks a lot more like a real life farm. What I try to do is I try to place the birches and chestnuts in a quite seemingly random fashion while trying to keep them in a straight line. In real farm areas, the trees are often used as a divider for the land, so they are mostly straight. And I try to simulate that in game. Also, these houses are placed along the edges of the fields, making it so that probably at one point in the past this would have been farm area, but right now it's cut up into smaller pieces and made into a few homes. And maybe the children of the farmer live here, maybe it's just rented out to people that thought it was too busy inside the main village of Parmesiano, and they decided they rather wanted to live near nature. So that is how I'm explaining this one to myself. Let's have one more look at our info views again. First I want to go to the production tab. We can see right now we halved the deficit of grain. We already see a small decrease in the livestock deficit. Let's see if we can also find that back here. Convenience food is still quite expensive. Normal food seems to have down a little bit. Can we also see something? We did lose our complaint over here. Do we also see something in this menu? We can see convenience food is still quite expensive. I think to solve this at some point we would have to make even more regular industry. But grain export is halved. Instead of the first most need we have right now, it's only our fifth most needed product. So that's quite good. I would say that's good progress. As I hit the unpause button, we made it through our next milestone. We are now no longer a village. You're looking at the town of Parmesiano. So let's see what that has to offer us. We have extra farming, so maybe we have to add this in sometime short. We now have communications. This means we have mail and radio. And we also have some new policies. Especially this one, the pre-release program, is quite good. So let's enable this right away. We can do this in our city information. Go to city policies. And then here we can just click it on. Okay. Then let's have a look at this one. Taxi minimum fare. A minimum charge is applied for each taxi ride. This is added to the fare based on the actual distance traveled. I don't think this is really needed. I think it's good if people use the taxi and don't use their own car. So let's get rid of this one. Then the key eye viewer probably already noticed this big lump of cheese in the middle of the screen. If you want to know what's beneath the cheese, then you better hit the subscribe button, because later this week there will be a bonus episode. It will be a short tutorial showing you how to build the cheese. Or yeah, what's beneath the cheese then, but you know what I mean. So, there were actually a lot of people. Well, almost 100 people have been watching these episodes, and that may not sound like a lot to you, but to me it's kind of amazing. I didn't expect this many people to view this right away, so I feel really motivated. That's what I'm trying to say. And with that, I think I have to say something like subscribe, click the like button, share this video, and please help me grow this channel, because seeing you guys watch the videos just makes me want to make more. With that said, bye bye.